Hey guys, welcome to the Big Blue United podcast. My name is TJ. I'm here with Dan and Colin. A lovely Tuesday night, a chilly tri-state area, New York, New Jersey. Dan is bundled up in his garage right now. The dedication, going through emails all day long in the frozen weather. We're proud of you,
do
Dan.
it for the culture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good day.
Why?
It's possible the football Hitler is going to be benched.
Football Hitler. I'm assuming you're talking about Daniel Jones.
Yes.
All right, I do
think
want
it's
to talk.
awesome that. I was going to say, I think it's
No,
awesome that everyone refers to Daniel Jones as football Hitler or whatever, but then they refer to Tommy DeVito as football Osama bin Laden. So we're benching Hitler for Osama.
I've not heard this. I've not heard it.
You haven't seen those pictures?
No.
Oh, they're everywhere. It's like the pig. They like put Tommy DeVito on Osama's body, and then like they show the Drake May pic. You know?
Great. I mean, it's accurate. That's all as usual, guys. Please follow Big Blue United on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You follow us, BBU Pod, Boys of the Z on Twitter. Actually, don't give Elon Musk any more money. He has enough.
Yep.
I do want to start talking about maybe not Daniel Jones specifically, but just the quarterback position of the Giants. After this egg of a game that, I mean, everybody played, Jones especially had one of his worst games of the season
Ever.
Is this the last game we are seeing Daniel Jones start in as a New York Giant?
It sure as hell seems like the consensus from the social medias.
I mean, What does that mean, though? Do you actually think that from what Dable kind of didn't immediately say yes, do you think that somebody else is coming in? And if so, which guy do you think they're going to go with?
Well, also Shane kind of didn't answer the question very directly as well, which is the first time either of them have not had a definitive answer to that question. So, and it's a bye week, and you have 2 weeks to prepare a new quarterback. This is the time. It has to happen right now. And it would be, I mean, we're texting about it. If it's not Locke, why are we paying him $5 million?
Beside the point. Why didn't we pay at Russell Wilson? Not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson wanted the vet minimum, but he couldn't compete.
Yeah, like $1 million. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's not playing for a number of reasons. One, everyone was shocked that he played the second half of that game.
Yeah.
Two, anytime a coach says we're reconsidering all our options or whatever, that always means that guy's not playing.
Yeah.
And three, he is dog poop at quarterback. So.
Yeah, I mean,
for the injury clause, because why are we just gonna put that up?
I mean, the one positive of his game is putting his body on the line, but that's gonna really be what is the most negative thing that could happen is him getting hurt and then not passing a physical next year. Then he's owed money, and then all of a sudden next year becomes a lot more murky as to what you're gonna do. I do hope we see Drew Lock next week. I could care less about Tommy DeVito. I know fans like him and want to see him, but you know what? Whatever. You're paying Drew Lock. Let him play. Like, this is the whole point of why you got a higher caliber backup quarterback. Moving on from Tyrod, who was, you could describe him that way as well. So that because you figured Daniel Jones would probably suck. So you needed someone competent to come in, at least like try to salvage something. Not that I think it's necessary to salvage anything at this point because the season's over. The Giants are the worst team in the NFL, and we're used to it.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah, good stat. Hang on.
Yeah.
7 out of 8 of the last seasons, they've had 3 or less wins by week 10.
Yep. I mean,
it
is pure numb town right here. This is
numb town.
They are football anesthetic.
I mean, power to anybody who actually woke up early to watch that game. I watched the replay. I just didn't feel the need to waste my morning. When I could have been sleeping.
I not only watched it from the beginning, but I had a show in 2:45 in the afternoon on Sunday, and I listened to it on the radio on the ride down.
Nice.
Which, I really do love to hear the complete and total resignation and dejection in Carl Banks and Bob Papa's voice. It is like, it's like kind of satisfying because they were for so long just beating the company drum. They were just trying their hardest, and now it's impossible. Every single person who covers this team more or less has to say that he can't play anymore. So, I mean, Dable would be doing himself a disservice by trotting him out there. Here's the question, though: Does he try real hard to coach Lock up, or does he just coach him up to suck so we continue to lose?
I think that depends on how secure they feel. Dable feels secure in his job if they've had that conversation with Mara. But knowing John Mara, I don't think tanking is like something that he would sign off on.
Yeah,
just historically.
Yeah,
Well-
and I think Dable is going to. He knows what his reputation in the league at least used to be, as far as like a quarterback whisperer or specialist, and I don't think he can rely on Mara securing his job. And I think he's prideful as well, so he's going to want to show people what he can do. So I think he's going to put his best effort forward. I don't think it hurts him in any way, because we'll probably still lose even if he does better.
I hope we lose every single game 36-35 from here on out.
Yeah, sure.
It's just like you put enough effort in, at least offensively, that you're showing something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I really hope we end up with the first overall pick. That would be the icing of like on a cake of shit for the past decade of watching the Giants to finally have the number one pick, and there looks to be, a number one consensus quarterback this year, which I think people weren't saying originally. Cam Ward seems to be the guy that everyone's talking about now.
Regardless of the Georgia Tech game.
I was seeing buzz about Jalen Milroe now.
See, I'm not seeing that as much. Like he's more of an athlete than a quarterback.
The guy from LSU is getting a lot of
Jahmyr Gibbs.
The guy from LSU, what's his name? He's been getting a lot of
Noose.
Yeah, I've been seeing him early in drafts as well. I don't really know much about the guy.
He doesn't have enough reps though. He's got like 10 games under his belt.
Yeah.
LSU got trounced the other day.
Oh.
But I mean, I think we do my plan. Trade down, get 4 first-round picks for next year, so we know what we can do. Get the best quarterback in next year's draft as well. Just keep drafting quarterbacks.
There's a certain contingent of people who want to wait it out for Arch, which I think is ridiculous.
No,
can't do that. No,
lose for 2 years.
No,
so you
cannot do that.
Manning, guy with a Manning on his jersey.
No,
I don't know.
I mean, Mara is like, there's a part of him that wants that. Of course, that's his absolute football wet dream.
Yeah, 100%. Some another tall, doofy white guy.
No, and he's a hell of a lot more athletic than the other ones.
Oh yeah, I mean he could run pretty well actually. I was surprised when he came in for relief a couple times. He was like had really good rushing stats, and I think he was throwing the ball all right too. I haven't watched enough games of what's he on Texas?
Yep,
I haven't watched enough games. But anyway, what else do you want to talk about with what we're gonna do? I mean,
just talking about this game in general, the defense is done. They
hard.
Yeah, they're they're not even. I think they're like, no, we're not doing anything this year.
I actually want to bring up something that I was thinking about, and it really pisses me off, is that you have a terrible run defense. You've had 1 interception the entire season. Darius Masau in like week 2 or 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then you had a guy on your team last year who is potentially a top 5 defensive player right now in Xavier McKinney. And I want to know, was there an attempt to re-sign him? Did he want out, or did Shane just say, oh, we'll be fine without him? Because right now, if you have Xavier McKinney on your team, that would be a huge boost to this defense. Someone who's leading, they're tied for the lead in picks. Giants have no interceptions. Great against the run. Giants can't stop the run. I mean, it's just, it makes me question Shane to a degree. But obviously, we don't know the whole story. But it's just like, come on, man.
The whole story is he got $17 million and we weren't paying him that. That's the whole story. I mean,
it just seems ridiculous that I guess it just comes down to you're paying Daniel Jones $40 million a year, but you can't pay, a top 5 defender $17 million a year. That was on your team and would have re-signed.
I mean, I don't think it's as easy as that. You look at like how piss poor the offense has been, and it needed to be addressed. So it's kind of like, our defensive front could probably, do what we did 10, 12 years ago and take some of the deficiencies at the back end out of play because you have such good front 7. That's the idea, but it didn't work out, obviously. You only have one Dexter Lawrence, and I don't know.
Brian Burns has been good. He hasn't been great. Kayvon has been hurt. Aziz, came on. He's been better. He had a terrible game this last game. Everyone on defense had a terrible game last game.
Really bad.
The really biggest issue is Deonte Banks, who is entering bust territory in my mind at this point. He sucks. He's playing bad football.
Yeah. I think he might be I was reading this article the other day. It was about like how unfortunately he was like the perfect cornerback for the Wink style defense. And now that it's changed a little bit, it's like he's learning a whole new defense and football acumen all over again, which is setting him back. But he's a pro. He should figure it out. I get all that. Plus, I think he's got a bit of got a mental issue with like his confidence. And, I think he's one of those young guys that really doesn't know how to lose well, And I think he's kind of over this season, like a lot of these players are. And unfortunately, it dictates your future when you don't put the effort in now, like we've talked blue in the face.
I mean, yeah, you're a rookie on your rookie deal. I know you're a first round pick, so you probably, have at least 4 years guaranteed, and the salary is pretty good. But every day you're playing for your next salary or your next contract. So, the questionable effort is really the issue. And then, I mean, he's just not working out in Bowen's defense for whatever reason. Not that anybody in the secondary really is, other than Cordell Flott had like a really good break up in the end zone.
And Drew Phillips is a real good
Drew
player.
Phillips, yeah, of course. That was a real good hit.
Yeah.
He constantly is grading out at the top of PFF. Speaking of which, we'd be remiss not to bring up Evan Neal being the top ranked offensive PFF. But I do want to share something with you guys because I thought it was really funny. I went on there. He had a really good run block grade. His pass block grade was 49.9, which is dead last on the team of qualifying players. So even though, people want to talk about this stat and whatever, he really didn't have as good of a game as people were thinking. I mean, it's good to see him. It's good. It's the best game he's had in his career. Could give him that.
Sure. And hey, it was better than we thought he was going to be, and we need him because the bodies are dropping right now, like it's drowning pool. So
let the bodies hit the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we can see Neal do this consistently, that would be amazing. It would make me feel better about that whole draft in general, I guess. But I don't know if against a better front if he's going to have as much success because the Panthers are obviously we would say the worst team in the league, but the Giants are the worst team in the league. It's the second worst team in the league.
It's arguable this is the best scenario for him, though, because the pressure's off. Now he can actually just try to get better without everyone piling up on him,
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's a confidence thing. It has a lot to do with anything, really. I mean, it's good. It's good. I'm glad he played because it was odd. I think when it was last week or the week before, just questioning what the plan was on the offensive line if Andrew Thomas went down. And I think this is what the plan should have been. You have a dude who was, 5th or 7th overall. I forget which one. He's 7th overall.
7th. I
mean, he's been in the league 3 years. Like, you sat him all year. You got a new coach, new offensive line coach is supposedly way better than the last one you had. You got to put this guy in. And I'm happy. And we better see him again next week.
They were saying that this has been the plan for the last couple of weeks, which just kind of goes to show how much coaching he really needed. Maybe they were, regardless of Hubbard getting signed. They're trying to get him to play and probably at the same time getting Illuminor reps at the left side for the last couple of weeks just to see what can work over there. And he did whatever. He did serviceable. He's not really a left tackle, and at least he hasn't been in a long time if he was. And it's piecemeal again. We're doing this piecemeal stuff where at least the center of the line is pretty consistent. So, not just the center position, but the central part of the line.
The interior line, they all had quite a good game, both in run pass blocking.
Hey,
but still, when you have Daniel Jones back there, it doesn't really matter.
What's cool is we're not going to win or lose this week, right?
It's true.
It's a great week to be a Giants fan.
It really is.
Yeah. Horrible. I did want to mention, I think I heard Bryce Young say, "Here we go," when he was snapping the ball. Did you guys catch that at all?
No.
I just really don't want that to catch on.
No,
it's terrible.
No.
Not a fan
it's
at all.
super annoying.
Hey, at least we don't have to hear that for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, well, is Dak
He's
out for
the season?
He's IR for at least 4 games.
I mean,
Oh.
they're not going to make the playoffs, so
No.
whatever.
So that's it.
They got absolutely destroyed by the Eagles. My God.
Oh, well, I mean, I love how Micah Parsons talk shit about Mike McCarthy and then instantly walked it back on his podcast. And that guy's got to stop it with that show. It's like real clown behavior on there. He thinks he's so smart and he's got all these things to say, but it's just like, dude, you'd be so better off not doing this.
I find it weird for like active players to have a podcast.
A bit.
I mean,
Like,
Get off my lawn. Get off
Well,
my lawn.
yeah,
I mean, he's got to be like
Leave the potting to us.
yeah,
well,
right.
that and
Professionals here.
he's got to have
I
like
mean-
the team PR constantly telling him what he can say and what he can't. You know, that's
I
lame.
mean, they're making millions of dollars a year off of the least amount of effort imaginable. They can feed another, half of their family for put them all in new houses elsewhere.
Oh, with the advertisements from the podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I wonder how many listeners he has.
How does he get through his
Tons.
emails?
Was he ever sponsored by DraftKings?
I'm doing his emails too.
I'm sorry, guys. I have
That's
to
my
step
real
out for
job.
30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's got
Well,
irritable bowel syndrome.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It just the season can't end quick
I mean, what
enough.
else to do? There's nothing left to say. I mean, we should either talk about, I don't know, the Knicks or, what quarterback we want next year, because there's literally nothing to talk about with this team right now other than the press conference, which is the most boring thing ever, or it's a bye week. Like what can we talk about the game? No, nothing good happened. I
mean-
feel like it's been a slog all season across the NFL. There hasn't been a ton of excitement.
You know,
And all the exciting teams have been watered down.
I wish I
what's
can
fun this
remember the guy. I saw some random tweet by this dude who is just like a normal guy. He's around our age, and he was basically like, "All right, so I just need to say something because I feel like I had an epiphany of sorts and a realization. And I've been watching the NFL for my entire life, and I had this realization that this year in particular, the league is awful from top to bottom. There's so many bad teams and so many bad games. And it's just, I feel like the 90s were a much more exciting time for the sport. And like he rattled off a couple of stats here and there. And it was just like, I think you're right, man. There's something going on here. And I mean,
quality of plays has been down. Like outside of the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bengals,
Niners.
when they're healthy,
Yeah.
I guess. Like
There's a lot of
what's a team you
two-win
want to
teams.
watch?
Lions.
I mean, what is it? though?
Lions are really good. Yeah.
I feel like there's like a lot of people are getting away from the idea, and it's kind of been proven right, but like people aren't looking to develop, especially quarterbacks, as long term anymore because it's like, what have you done for me lately, league? And maybe that's part of why this is happening. People are like seeing other teams, catch a spark with rookie quarterbacks, say Washington, for example, and think, we're one draft away from getting that guy and just going for it. And they're just automatically starting these dudes. And maybe sometimes they're just not ready.
Yeah. Well, it's a fundamental change too in how quarterback with the 7-on-7 and, so many of these guys that are getting, taken in the top, 3 or 4 rounds that never take a snap from center. They're in shotgun like literally 95% of the time. And you just can't do that in the NFL. So it's learning like a whole another aspect of the game. Remember, it used to be like a big thing about if a quarterback played in a pro style offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like those aren't successful in college anymore. So no one runs them. And although it's like a copycat league to an extent, like the NFL still need to be able to take a snap from under center.
Well, that begs the question: why isn't the NFL going even more like the college style for that same?
I'm
reason?
sure it has to do with like size and speed of players.
Yeah.
Like, how fast and big defensive linemen are. You
Oh,
can't
so
just, like,
plays under center combat that a little bit more.
I think so.
I think you have less
Well, I
time to
think-
throw, and the DBs can cover a lot more ground.
Yeah.
Because I guess, like, isn't the whole point of, like, a lot of those offenses, it's sort of like basketball. You're just trying to create as much space as you can.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when you have DBs who can close super fast, it's like harder to create that space in the open field.
Well,
I'm just guessing.
But the point is, what the point I was trying to make is, like, why would the NFL automatically go for plays under center because of that exact reason?
Well, there's, like, more optionality, I think, with the plays you can run.
Play action.
And, yeah, and, like, the dropbacks and everything. I feel like in college, guys are taking, like, the snap from shotgun and just, like, not moving and just throwing.
You know, I was just reading about Brock Purdy's development just yesterday, and I guess whoever his, I think it was his dad who was being interviewed, of being asked why was he able to acclimate so quickly to the NFL, and I guess he played a lot more flag football growing up than actual tackle football, and because the way that, like, I guess the game he was playing and was being organized is like it was 3 seconds the ball's out, or else you're getting like a penalty, basically. So it was developed in his head to get the ball out as quickly as possible, and that's only helped him throughout his career, which is kind of an interesting thing to think about. Like,
I mean, Daniel Jones could use some of that help, I think, getting the ball out, anticipating anything.
Well, I think he could use the help
He's
getting
beyond help, dude.
Well,
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
He could use the help getting the ball out of his hand so that it never gets back in his hand ever again,
Maybe get the ball out of his ass.
or his head.
Yeah, which is, yeah.
I think the best tactic would be to get the ball out of his hand by not letting him play anymore.
Don't even let him throw. That's the easiest
Let him
way
get the
to
ball in his hand in
out
the
of
first place. Yeah.
No, he
simplest solution.
gets set, and then he gets cut, and then no one ever re-signs him.
Someone's gonna re-sign him.
What? Who? Who's
Someone's
stupid
gonna
enough?
sign him for a backup QB for no money.
Someone said that Daniel Jones is going to make a great high-end backup quarterback, and I thought that was an insane tweet. I don't think he's going to be a high-end backup. I think he's going to be like an average to below average backup.
You're in Cooper Rush territory.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Cooper Rush took a dump on the field last week.
He's not. I mean, the Cowboys are just bad in general.
Great.
And then you have Jerry Jones, you know, getting mad because there's sun in CeeDee Lamb's eyes and shit. Like, what a dysfunctional.
Jerry's fault.
Well, what the
He's
hell?
an
I
idiot.
saw that too. Like, what the hell is wrong with you building the place like that and not even thinking about how the sun, like, it affects the place?
I mean, I don't think we can say anything when you play in MetLife Stadium.
What do you mean? The sun's not a problem.
But in the context of a good franchise, yeah, the wind is always.
No, the wind's better there
the
than it
wind?
was in the Meadowlands, actually.
I mean, it's still an issue, but yeah, you're right. You're right. I digress.
You can actually see. That's the number one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you guys want to hit on here, because I liked when Rich Eisen said he put the no in Gano when he missed.
Yeah,
That was
that was
good.
pretty
Great.
funny.
That was
It's a good
funny.
one.
Thank you to Tyron Tracy for not only being a huge value in the 5th round, but also fumbling the ball. That was huge.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I felt bad for him. Felt bad for him because you never want to be that guy. He doesn't, he doesn't want to be blamed for any sort of loss ever,
He's
regardless.
going to be a hero.
Yeah, I mean, he is a hero. I mean, all those tweets about people being like, he's so sad, but the entire fan base wants to build the statue.
I mean, after
So
losing
that's great.
Saquon, a lot of the fan base was happy to have someone come in and be just as competent. I also think you should blame him for the second interception. Also, I would put 2 turnovers.
No way,
on
dude.
Tracy.
He threw that late. He threw that behind him.
It hit him. It hit him in
Bullshit
both
Merman
hands.
throw.
It hit him in both hands, and he didn't catch it.
He had to catch it off of the linebacker's body. The linebacker ran into the ball. Did you not see it? There's not even a
It bounced
discussion.
off his hands and then went into the linebacker's body. There
It
was a
was
catchable ball.
behind him.
Yeah.
It was a bad ball, though.
Bad ball.
I mean, it wasn't
Anyone
a
else
ball
can
thrown
throw a
ball, but
5-yard
he should
pass
have caught
in
it.
stride. If you're only looking at that one guy, how can't you make that one throw? He didn't look at a single other receiver. At least he could do is put it in a spot where he could run to it and not have to turn his body backwards into the body of a linebacker. Yeah,
Are
he
you
could have
def-
caught it, but
Are
it
you
was
defending Daniel Jones?
Yes, he said it's Tyron Tracy's fault that it was intercepted.
We are not defending that man on this podcast.
No. I think when you defend him in this situation, it's like it's like you're making a case that it was his fault for the interception. So he's actually not. He's getting down on Daniel Jones.
No,
I'm saying
asking
Tyrone
you.
Tracy should take blame.
Yeah, I don't.
Partial.
I'm out on that one.
I watched the replay several times, and I made my decision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he could have caught it, but it was also a bad ball.
I mean, I think both things are true. I don't think Daniel Jones throws good balls in general.
Wow, that doesn't.
But like,
that doesn't let him get off scot-free over here.
I mean,
It
look,
was
I watched the replay 4 times. I think that it was very much Tyrone Tracy's fault.
Okay. All right.
Daniel
Eye
Jones
on that
stared
ball.
down that pass. He threw it late, and he threw it behind him. He did everything possible he could do wrong besides throwing it directly to the linebacker. I guess.
I mean, I'm in the camp where if you're playing the NFL and you have 2 hands in the football, you should catch it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess.
Whatever.
The linebacker probably would have knocked it out because he would hit his chest too.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, this is actually a microcosm of Giants Twitter right now.
I mean, I'm not trying to say that Daniel Jones. I mean, I thought Daniel Jones had one of the worst games of his career. I just didn't particularly think that pass was the worst pass that he threw all day. And I think that it bounced off Tracy's head.
It could have been though, because it was like a 3rd and 8, and he threw a 3-yard pass without reading anyone else. When there's 2 other guys in 3, and then he stared at the one guy he decided pre-snap he was going to throw it to, threw it late and threw it behind him, and it got intercepted.
I mean, look, the other interception was worse.
Throw me the fucking ball. He's going to throw it. He would have already thrown it, and then he's like, "Oh, whoa! He's throwing it this late. This is insane."
The other interception was worse. The throw to Neighbors on the 3rd and 8 where he just whiffed it over his head.
That was
That
insanely.
was a terribly bad pass. The pass over the middle to Theo Johnson that was totally behind him was a terrible pass. There were way worse passes than that pass in the game.
That Neighbors one that was 60 feet over his head was like really, really good.
Dude just threw it at the defender directly in front of him, and it deflected it and it got intercepted. Like there was a dude directly in front of him. He just threw it right at him.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
I mean,
hilarious.
that's terrible. That's. I mean, I don't want to defend Jones. I'm not. He sucks.
I mean, how would I get respect for that man again? If he came out in the next press conference and he just says, "I'm sorry, guys, I fucking suck."
He should say, come out and be like, after much deliberation, I am going to retire right now.
You should do
Back to North Carolina
retired
and
at
looking
halftime.
for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. What's that?
Who was the cornerback for the Colts who retired at halftime?
Oh my gosh.
It was Vontez.
Yeah, no, not Vontez Perfect. He was
No. It was Vontae Davis's brother who is now passed away.
Oh, that sucks. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't remember how, but I think it was somewhat recent.
I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. Unless you're going to go out like Antonio Brown, it's kind of ridiculous to retire in the middle of a game. Or, I mean, I don't know.
Well, CTE is a hell of a drug, man.
MAGA Antonio Brown. He must be happy.
Yeah.
What do I have to do to get cracker of the week or day?
You don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be any involved.
Probably
in this
destroy
at
your
all.
life in some horrifically public way.
Hey, what's with Le'Veon Bell, by the way? Talk about CTE.
Why? What's up with him? I haven't seen
He's
anything.
MAGA too.
Yeah, big time. And I don't know. Antonio Brown is. They're intertwined somehow. There's some really strange internet stuff going on. Just go check it out. I don't think I'm gonna die.
I mean, they're people with millions of dollars who don't want to pay taxes and want to find more tax loopholes and get tax breaks. So, I mean, it's not shocking to me that someone who's a millionaire would be a vote for Trump. That's not shocking to me at all.
Yeah, I don't know if it's even that some of these times because these guys have been hit in the head so many times. And I just don't.
I mean, he did make a really terrible decision in his career that basically went from the best running back in the NFL to nothing.
Yeah,
being the second thought on the Jets, I guess.
Yeah, that was bad.
That's some
He was so
CTE
good for a while. He was so good.
Yeah, I mean, you think about Brown and Bell on the Steelers, they were awesome. It's such good skill position guys, and they were both drafted later on.
I saw that. And like, I don't get it. I don't get it with the Steelers. I saw that they were 7-2, and I didn't realize what their record was. I'm just like, they're not even that good. What is happening?
The players want to
Pretty
be
good.
there. They want to play for Tomlin. I don't know. I mean, they're well disciplined, it would seem.
I guess.
But yes, it is weird that Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season.
Well, it's cool. At least one half of the Rooney Mara, football royalty actually does something right consistently. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it would be nice if like it could go the other way once in a while.
Mm. Yeah, that's
But
all I
mean,
got.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We'll probably take
Might
the
take
next
the
week
next
off.
week off.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
bye. And yeah, I mean, we're gonna be here talking about the Giants, even though it's there's less and less to talk about each week
No,
because so repeat yourself.
let's do this. Let's try to make an effort to watch some of the quarterbacks next week or this weekend
College.
in college.
We'll do a
Yeah,
little
we have something to talk about.
yeah. Look, I
Cool.
think we can start the draft early. We always like doing the draft, so
Let's do it.
cool. All right, thanks for listening, guys. Big Blue United, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, BBU Podboys with the Z on Twitter, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Peace.
Peace.
Thanks.